and welcome to Good News Friday. Mike, Simon is here. I'm Joey Yarber. Happy Friday, everybody. There's a lot of bad things going on in the world. I'm not going to pretend like that the news is all good. However, our focus is on the positives, some of the transformational changes that we're seeing that's going on in the country with good people just like you. And we talked with several people during the course of the week. We just like to highlight some of those conversations from time to time. And we had a wonderful conversation with a gentleman by the name of Chris, and he's formed his own 501c3, working from a perspective of substance abuse. And as he was sharing, he was formerly a user, formerly there in that type of situation. It was bad. He developed, though, during that time, steps that he was able to work himself out of that place of crisis, that level, if you will, of use. And he wanted to share those steps with others. He needed a way to document those steps. Here's CharityTracker. Our outcomes feature will allow you to put certain steps that you've been able to formulate, whether it's substance abuse or perhaps a workforce development, any type of program that you may have that sometimes requires benchmark goals. Let's work through some of those processes and put them into place. We know that they work. You know, I think that's one of the big challenges that we have is what processes really work? What processes really get a person out of that place of being a drug abuser, if you will? And Chris knew those steps that he utilized. He wants to share this with others, imparting that kind of information. How valuable could that be to others that are going through that? And you know, Mike, our outcomes feature is able to just take on those goals, put them step by step, measure the progress, and it's exciting. And Chris was excited as he saw what he could potentially do there from his agency's perspective. Outcomes, I think it's the future. We've got to work out of this.
And you know that for many years, most software didn't have any outcome or impact in it. And we learned this from United Way up north.
Yeah, wow.
And that's why we developed it. We developed it several years ago. And it's important to be able to assess where people are at in their circumstances, but then to be able to measure the progress of their assessments and their outcomes is tremendous. And CharityTracker does that simply.
I love hearing the stories about people when they see it, because they've been looking for this, right? They thought that they were in a demo. Here's what will happen sometimes. They think that they're in a demo for a case client management system. We're just focusing on tracking data on a client. Don't get me wrong, that's great. You can provide, with notes and keeping track of that information, that type of information. And then we go to the outcomes feature and demonstrate that, right? And it's like their eyes get wide open, mouth starts coming open, and they're like, wow, you guys can do that? Because I've been looking for this.
Yeah.
And that capability is so exciting to us because, Mike, we see it. We talk about this all the time. We're not focused on tracking tragedy. We're focused on transformation. Let's get people out of that place of crisis. And when you're working with someone and they're going through a really difficult time, substance abuse, I mean, hey, you've got to really measure that progress or measure the lack of progress sometimes. Let's figure out what's going on here. But to be able to run a report and see that progress or where there perhaps is a gap and we need to really focus in on that area of someone's life, it's so important to be able to have data to be able to make those kinds of decisions and to be able to understand as to the assessment of this person. Where are they in that status type scenario? So as we continue to work with agencies, always good to visit with someone like Chris, who brings his processes to his agency. And let's face it, he's getting people out of that substance abuse situation, but that requires processes and it requires benchmark goals and being able to measure all that accordingly at that current status and in real time. It's exciting. And we here at Simon Solutions, we get pumped about this kind of stuff because that's why we designed this. We had this in mind. And Mike has been talking to me about outcomes since I first started working at Simon Solutions, that vision to be able to work with someone. And we're getting away from that, just focusing in on tragedy stuff. Granted, it's important to be able to focus in on specifics as to where a person is in crisis. But let's get them out of that place. And that requires processes and goals. And we're doing that. So that's exciting stuff. Hey, we're excited about something that Mike and I are working on here. We're just taking what we learned over the last 16 years of doing business. And Mike has been doing this long before Simon Solutions was created, just working from a community type perspective, focusing on transformation, being able to bridge everyone together to work together, and some of the stuff that we've learned. And we're working on that video series that's going to be available very soon. So Mike, we feel a responsibility, don't we? I mean, we've learned a lot, and that knowledge, we're just trying to take some of that info and pass it along. It's our responsibility.
Well, I've been working on this for umpteen years.
Yes, sir.
And, but only in the last, 2 or 3 years have we seen the evidence of this now coming to light. And these emerging trends that are happening in communities with our software is making this possible. And we're learning that these communities, they're learning how to deploy and these innovative solutions. And they're doing it with remarkable results. And some people are often called this revolutionary, but it's pretty exciting to see what these communities are doing. And all we're doing is we're reporting it. We're not teaching it. We're reporting it. And we're excited about this training series that's coming out. It's going to teach you how to get your community to work together for common good and greater impact. It's great.
Yes, sir. There's champions out there, Mike. And when we talk to one, we stop talking. We listen. And we've just assembled some of this information over the years. And it really is. It's awesome to watch someone go in as that champion and to make this thing happen. And as we've learned a lot, we're going to impart that to you. That's coming up really soon. We'll have more details to come. Hey, you can always get in touch with Mike. It's Mike at simonsolutions.com or me, Joey, at simonsolutions.com. We would love to talk with you about how we might be able to serve with your work, your important work as you work with people and help them. Hey, for Mike and all of us here at Simon Solutions, thank you so much for making us a part of your day. Have a great weekend, everybody.